Hey guys, wait for my tablet to slow down and stop going ping. Sorry about that. Just started it up and don't think it's been running for 24 hours. And that's the notifications coming through. Pain in that because most of them, I don't know why it does that. Anyway, hey guys, no troubleshooting on the engine. We've made some commitments to the engine, so anyone who wants to buy a cheap Stewart 400, never been run, good condition, hit me up. No, it's not like that. I've actually, if we're going to go with the Stewart 400 news first. Hey guys, I don't know who's here. A lot of you. Digger up, was chirpy. Joe Dirty, good to see ya. David Sykes, hello. Stuart Hingston, g'day. Bill, g'day, good to see ya. Aaron, hello. Mark Osborne, g'day. Tom, g'day. There's Tommy Gun Machining in the house. Matt Peterson, g'day. Craig's Workshop, g'day. Paul from Knackler's Workshop, g'day. Machining said, g'day. Hey, Kevin. Matty, g'day. And anyone else who's in the live stream watching in, because I don't think I've got everyone. G'day. Bill's probably right with that. Never been run, never will. Well, what I've done, here's an update. I've ordered a steel chainsaw carby, which is cheating and not really the answer, but it might get it running, and it's about the right size and capacity probably. So that's what I just did. So it could be here by the end of the weekend. It could be here by the weekend. I hope so, and we might get it on the engine and have another go then. But we've got fuel problems. Timing's excellent. Adjust the timing a bit, and I think my timing's pretty good. I can turn it over with the drill and it fires every time, but it will not kick off on its own, and it's just not sucking fuel. So new carby. Gonna have a bit more of a look at the intake valve spring too, because I'm not sure that's right, but we're on to that. Talked to a guy who actually owns one and runs one, full size one, and he says intake spring on the full size one's pretty fussy. So I'm thinking that I might still have to adjust that a bit, because I was wondering about it. So that's the update on the 400 in 3 minutes 40 seconds. So there you go. That's good. Dreamsteam, g'day. Good channel, Dreamsteam. Go and check out Dreamsteam. If you're not a subscriber, you should be. Click on Dreamsteam's channel and have a look. Pretty awesome. New channel. Good videos. Building a little locomotive. Go and check that out. Anyway, carb's on its way. A few other things that we're working on, and maybe we'll get it running, but I'm not sure. Remains to be seen. Bill's probably right. Definitely autumn. It's raining here. It's getting dark a bit early. It's awesome. There's a link to Dreamsteam's channel. You ought to click that and bookmark it for later. Go and check it out. What's next? Cocoa Pops Razor. Yeah, there's been some news. I don't know if I've achieved anything, but I've talked to a lot of people, and I've got some ideas kicking around, and I think I have some better parts than I had before. So, having said that, it shows if it's a steel carb, it won't run. Yeah, that's probably right. Anyway, I think it's only a Chinese copy, so it's got half a chance. No vacuum pot. I don't think it's a vacuum. Not sure about that. Anyway, we'll see. I'm not sure it's a vacuum carby. It's a whippersnipper carby, so we'll see how we go with that. It's not a float bowl, no. It's a diaphragm carby. It was like cheap, really cheap. So we'll see. Still open for ideas. If someone's got about a 10mm, 12mm float chamber carby, less than about 50mm from the centre of the throat down to the bottom, and can offer a suggestion on that one, hit me up. Pretty keen. Ball's in your court. Go and see what you can find. Dan will be in touch about that. I didn't miss your comment. I saw that, so we'll be in touch. But it only needs to be tiny, like tiny little one. There was a baby amel that went on the full-size one fairly reliably, and it'll work or it won't. That's exactly right. Thanks, Wazza. Jim Sim's in the waiting room for the doctor. Hope you're okay. Take care. So we'll see about that. The little car needs a little carby. There's an amel, baby amel, or a Suffolk Punch carby that was used quite a lot, it seems, on the full size one. But this is only 3/4 as big, so you're looking at a pretty tiny little carby, and I really don't know. Really don't know. So anyway, we'll see. Like Warren says, it'll work or it won't. That's where I'm at with it. Anyway. I knew that, Willem. I knew that. We'll see how we go with it. We'll see how we go with some pressure or whatever in the tank. See how we go. Otherwise, carby. If someone's got a little float bowl carby, doesn't need to be very big. Something that'll go on it, and something that was made in 1920, that'd be even better. But it's a long shot. I'll find something or I'll make something, but I just want to get it running at this point. Hey Greg, good to see you. Anyway. Racer. Not sure there's a lot of progress to really show you. I have got some wheels, and they're flat. Look at that, nice and flat through there. No kinks, no bends, no buckles. It's really nice. The last one I did was this one. Or this one, we'll call it this one. And the problem with this was, with the old die, that this isn't flat across here. It's a bit of a problem. Bit mixed really. When you push it down here, it's raised in the middle. So not real happy with that. So redesigned this die as a 2-stage or a 2-point die, and it seems to work. So we'll go ahead and make one in metal, I think. So what I've got is 2 pieces with a bolt through them first. Like so. Might find a flat one and show you. If I've got one, probably not. Don't think so. But anyway, this goes in here. It's probably not going to be quite like this if I make it out of steel. This bolts down on here like this and clamps it in place like that. So when you do this bolt up, probably built the crap out of that. When you do this bolt up, that clamps it in place nice and flat, and then I've got another piece that slides over the top like so, and the press pushes the edges down like that and keeps the middle flat. So 2-stage die there. That seems to work pretty well. Going to make one out of steel that works even better, because this isn't particularly slippery or anything. It works, but that's kind of it. As far as 3D printing goes, it's really not the answer. So we will make something that works properly. Thanks, Willem. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. I'll check that out too. We'll chase that. Graphite powder would be the answer, Chirpy, but I think I'm going to make one out of steel. In the 3 pieces. Now I know what I want and how it works. And we should be able to make this so that we can just squash it in the vise or put it in a press and push them down and pull it apart fairly easy. How many cc's is the 400? Joe says about 54, 55, something like that. There we go. 5.8 to 1 compression. Anyway, we got wheels anyway, and they'll look something like that. This one here is a bit rough. I've got some hollow rivets to go on to hold these together, and I'm not sure if that's ideally the answer. They don't clamp particularly well, but I'm just tossing up ideas with that. The front looks pretty good, but the back not so much. So we'll see how we go with that. And then I've had a bit of an epiphany and decided that 5mm axles are way too crazy big, and we're going to go back to 4s. Mostly because I'm going to use some decent material. I'm probably going to fit look, the price difference and the likelihood of getting straight material and getting material that'll cut and will be to size and will run nice and won't be too wobbly and stuff, and otherwise, and throwing most of it out if I buy a 6 meter length, is probably negligible. So I'm going with 01 steel axles and 4mm. So that brings its own little set of headaches. One is you can't get caps. I'm just rabbiting on here. Sorry, guys. Should be reading the comments a bit. Hey, Brendan. there's a brass hub to go in here, and I wanted to do a roll rivet on the back. That's probably the best way to put all that together and make it nice and secure and good. Just a little brass hub. However, the issue being, if we use a 4mm axle, we really only want to be about 5.4, 5.5 or something on the outside here in this hole, which won't hurt. However, it means that when we clamp this together, we can't use a 6mm bolt either. So, still thinking about how to clamp that hub into the wheel so that it's a good job and nice and solid. Still thinking about that without buying a big press to do it. Jury's still out. But these O-rings are a pretty good fit on here. They don't spin at all. This particular one being black vinyl O-rings is pretty slippery. I don't know how much traction that'll have, but we'll see if the softer ones, the white ones, seem to be a little bit softer, the ones that I've seen, but I haven't got any this size yet. So, hey Darren. And Stephen Lang, g'day. Steam engine video from Stephen Lang this week. Make sure you check it out. One from Maddie's workshop too. You probably should check that out. Did I see that? Yeah, I think I saw one this week. Who else has sent it? Who's got a video up? Chirpy got a video up? Not sure. I haven't seen it. Maybe he has. He usually does. I haven't seen one from Kevin. Haven't seen one from Craig. Haven't seen one from me, but that's just normal. Sorry, guys. A bit slack there. Stephen was still up 4 hours ago, so he's really doing pretty good to make it. Congratulations, Stephen. You did it, but I think you're a crazy guy for doing so. Work and fishing sounds fairly important, Kevin. So, wheels realistically aren't far off being finished, right? Having 4 wheels that look all right. There's not much more work in them, to be honest. Pretty excited about that. The panels, these panels, that one, we've got 2 here the same, sort of. Neither of them are really what they look like. This panel and the other panel for the front, they're being laser cut as we speak, so pretty excited to get them and try them out, see what happens. Hopefully they come out okay. Be pretty excited to solder one up and see what we get. Bill hasn't made a video either, we should check that. Mark's on the Maddie, sorry. It's Laby Winter, you know that. Um, 400, Willem, yeah. Things only running 350, 400 RPM. Maddie's right on there. Yeah, understand. So, there's a bead roller. Bead roller. Someone asked about a bead roller. New Mr. Crispin video, yep, on piston rings. Series videos get like that in the end. That's the way it is, Stephen. And Heron's video got shared on Discord, so I've seen that. That's awesome. Yeah, just say Maze instead. Matt says that's exactly right. It's raining. You can hear the rain. I'm just reading the comments here. Sorry, guys. Now, where are we? I've redrawn these at this point, right? So that these spokes are actually parallel, so they're a bit thinner here, or a bit less thin here where the hole comes through. This is going to be all right. There's plenty enough metal there, but it's a weak point really when you're trying to bend them. So we're going to go parallel. And look, if we put a bit of shape in all these spokes up the middle, we wouldn't really need to even rivet them around the outside, and that's another option as well. But still thinking about that. We might try one and see what we end up with. Front ends are starting to look like they might come together. We'll get that sorted. Clockwork motors, no real progress on that. Now, talked to a couple of artists about box art, and the thoughts were to do like a limited edition poster as the box label. Might be nice. Then do a nice pasteboard box. Pasteboard was a big thing for packaging a long time ago, and it basically is a what's pasteboard is really, it's a thick paper, I guess. And they're glued up and covered with an outer coating, so that they generally have got walls 2 or 3 millimeters thick. Don't know much about vintage packaging, but there you go. I've done some research. If anyone's interested in vintage packaging. Geez, everyone's busy and I'm just doing nothing except chasing my tail with this. Sorry, guys. I'm impressed that everyone's busy. Martin Dawson from the UK sent this parcel a long time ago. Says it left England on the 25th of the 4th, 19. Now, I've had this for a while, so I've probably had it 12 months, actually. Not quite. Yeah, 12 months, 18 months, something like that. Now, send some paper, because he does a bit of bookbinding and he wanted to send some nice things. This is what I would like to see the outside of the box. This is Italian marble paper. It's a bit flash. I don't know if this is probably overkill. But if you could get some big sheets of it at the right price, or maybe there's a Chinese, when I say Chinese, maybe there's a reproduction of it. If someone wants to make me some reproduction marble paper, something like that. Or we could find some print paper. But a pasteboard box with this sort of thing on the outside, and then a nice colour label over the top. Some awesome vintage packaging. Got this theory about packaging that we've lost that shopping experience. This is a soapbox, everyone. Soapbox. We've lost our touch with retail experience, and buying stuff online, you sort of, eBay's all the same, and you browse for stuff and it's got 4 pictures and you buy it because it's cheap and because it's quick postage, and you don't really look at the product because there's 1,000 others like it. And that kind of sucks. So with this, I would really like someone who buys this actual car on a Kickstarter to get something in the mail that looks amazing and is amazing, really, and is an unboxing experience. And I'd like to see that. So looking at 1910, 1920s French toy packaging, it's pretty boring, to be honest. Parlour games are an exception, but toy cars and toy dolls and puzzles, things like that, pretty boring. It's just a cardboard or pasteboard box with a label on the outside and some staples in the corners and the lid that lifts off, and I guess some cellophane or tissue around the actual item originally. We move on to the 30s, you get much nicer packaging, and whether we stick with a 20s sort of a theme and make it boring and plain, there's going to be somewhere in between, but it's not going to be 50s bright colour display packaging like you saw by then. So that's where we're at. But if you look at pre-World War I parlour games and board games, things like that, puzzle games, a lot of those were packaged pretty nicely. Willem hasn't got any rain. We've got a heap of rain here. Oh, sorry about the focus issues. I was trying to change the scroll through the comments, but I think we're caught up. Anyway, that's the thoughts on packaging. Don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how we're going to get it in a budget, but we're going to try because I'd like to see that. And at this point, I really don't want the thing to get much more expensive. But if we could work on that, it would be awesome. Something like this would be really, really nice on the outside of the box. It'd be amazing. But we'll see. Something like this. Probably not going to be real Italian marble paper though. We'll see. Anyway, that's what I've been chasing around doing. Talked to a couple of artists actually. One of them's sort of a girlfriend of a community member, and I'd like to see some artwork that I can use as a limited edition print and maybe number them and all that sort of stuff. We'll see. Could laser cut a box? Yeah, it's getting a bit expensive. Kevin, I think. Sorry, Chip. Anyway, that's where I'm at with that. We're making a little bit of progress, and I'm chasing things up. I'm looking at Kickstarter, and I've sort of been drawing out a few ideas for a website, and I'm sort of, that's all evolving very slowly, very, very slowly with this. There's all stuff that's got to be considered before we go live with the Kickstarter campaign, which I would like to have done. We're aiming for about July, but we'll see, because you know other things happen. Kevin, yeah, I know what you're high. Aim high too is probably a good thing, but I'm I'm a bit of a realist too. Ideally, I would like to get the packaging in under about $15 a piece. That's a pretty crazy figure, but it's $15 Australian. And honestly, a sheet of pasteboard and a sheet of paper and a sheet of cardboard kind of is nearly over budget on that. So we'll see. Other thing is to find a post box that everything's going to fit in, and then make a decent carton that'll go inside that nicely so that it can ship one inside the other. And that adds to shipping costs and things like that too, but we'll see how we go with that. Paul, good to see you. Hey, Paddy. Bill's definitely high, but that's all right. $15 don't buy much in Australia, but if you times it by 50 or 100 items, it's starting to get up there. And putting it on top of the sales price on this particular vehicle is something I really don't want to. Look, $1 on each one makes a huge difference overall, as far as prototyping, and we're right onto that, and chasing every 50, chasing every 20 cents really. Got rivets to hold these together, and they're fairly expensive. They're 15 cents each. Really, that's 60 cents a wheel. That's if we're going to do the maths. Has $2.40 a car. Over 100 cars, that's $240 worth of rivets. Too expensive. We can use pop rivets, which are about 2 cents each, 3 cents each. They look ugly, but the difference is 12 cents a wheel, 40 cents a car, something like that. And over 100 of them, that's, it's $40 instead of 250. So that's where we're at with that. A lot of maths involved in this. Paul's probably right. I'm really trying to go through it and find items that are going to work, that are going to be okay and are going to look good. Disregarding costs on a prototype is a bit scary, because prototyping is a crazy expensive thing. It's like standing on top of a paper shredder and poking $100 notes through as fast as you can. That's how prototyping works. That's what I'm finding anyway. It's probably not quite that desperate, but that's kind of where it is. Seem to be just basically that's what I'm doing. And each itineration of these, to see if we get them right. I mean, there's some mistakes with these. The spokes are too thin, the holes are too big in the center. To get another set cut, it's $100. You get a few cut. Got our slots for our tabs in our base in the wrong spot, and we didn't really know that. They're not really in the wrong spot, but the problem is with it, if you see this, I probably showed you last week, but this one here is too close to the edge, and when you fold it, it bends up here and looks ugly, and you've got a sharp corner there and there, because this one and this one are way too close to the corner here, so they need to be moved back 10mm each way. So that's another itineration of that needs to be cut before we go. But just about every piece that we make has some sort of a a second comeback on it. We've printed about 3 of these before we found one that actually works, and now we're going to make one out of metal. Not sure about that, Stephen. I'm going to chase that up though. It probably would, Chirpy. There's a bit of strain on the outside here where the tyre goes on, and I'm just suspicious that this is going to bend this way. Putting a ridge through here, or a bent fold in each one of these so they're a bit concave would fix that and give it the strength it needs, and then it wouldn't need rivets on it at all. And I'm thinking about that. But at this point, we've got 4 rivets. Boxes are cheap here in the US. Thanks, Stephen, for that. I'm going to have a look. Printed graphics, we're going to do labels and probably, hey, Richard. Paul, if you've got some import, we're totally up for it because I like that. Going to do a limited edition run of labels, and probably going to offer that as another Kickstarter reward at a cheaper price or at a lower margin, so that anyone who wants to support it and buy some nice, like a nice poster for the wall, limited edition poster, still can and have part of the project without actually having a dust collector car in a box for a crazy amount of money. So things like that we've got to think of too, and got some ideas for artwork. It's going to be pretty nice. Paul, if you want to drop me an email, happy to listen. If you've got any ideas, I'd really appreciate it. Could spot weld them. How do you go spot welding aluminium, Paul? That's where we're at. Thought about that. Honestly, I honestly thought that spot welding, if I made them out of steel, spot welding would be the answer, but I'm not sure that we're going to make them out of 1mm steel, and anything a bit thinner might... We'll think about that too. Solid wheels are good, expensive and slow. Tabs, Peter. That's interesting. I'm listening to you there. Absolutely listening. Thinking about it. I think to do tabs, we'd have to make them out of thinner material. I'll put that one away and think about it. So they're both pretty good ideas, and I really appreciate that. So there we go. Wheels. What an ordeal. Got plenty to practice with, so I'm going to mess around with them and see if I can get something that works, and then redesign them and resend them and get another batch that look like they're going to be what we need or closer to what we need, and see how they go. Got to order some more of these, but I've got the pieces coming to go in here that go in the slots, and we're going to put them together first and then make sure the slots line up, and we'll get some more of these cut. These I think need holes in here because I think I'm going to screw the mud guards on at this point. I can't think of another way of doing it. We've got guards that touch here and here basically. So there's a place for one screw here and a screw here somewhere if we wanted to do it that way, and just put like an M2 screw or something in that. Be a fairly quick job just to tap them in the tap and drill, tap it in the tapping machine, and if they had laser cut holes, just run tap through them. probably M2, 2.5, something like that. But I'm not convinced that that's a good idea. What I'd like is to supply this in kit form and getting these guards so that they're powder coated and ready to assemble to this is a little bit tricky. There is, let me have a look and put this here like this. There is a bar comes through here to support the front of the mud guards. So don't know how we're going to do that yet. We'll get the rest going and then we'll think about that. We're a little ways off. Clockwork motor, we've actually got some headway. I've got some drawings and I've got some bits made, and I'm sort of thinking that that's going to be pretty cool, and I would like to get some springs and bits and fit them up and cut some plates and see how we go with that and get one running. I'd really like to see that, but it all comes together a little bit at a time. You adjust something and then you've got to adjust something else. Paddy, gluing is not particularly good with powder coating, and that's where I'm at with that. Bill's probably right on the vibration thing, but I don't think there's very much vibration. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it probably can be done. I'm not about to start spot welding aluminium. A more likely scenario is that I'm going to find some nice sealed pop rivets or something that are going to look pretty good and use them. Anyway, thanks for the link. Really appreciate that. Stephen just come through there now. Haven't looked at it yet. Anyway, that's where we're at with that. I'm pretty happy with progress, but there's prototyping is one of those 2 steps forward and 1 step back thing all the time. Every time you go to the spot, sheet metal works to get some laser cutting done, it's a few dollars out of the pocket, and every time you go and buy fasteners or whatever, you've got to buy a minimum quantity because they're all odd sizes. Really wanted to source end caps for axles. That's where we're at. I've got some end caps. Where's the bag? Give me a second. Yeah, thought I did. Not in the bag. Don't know where they are. Tonka trucks used to have a little star washer with a fancy spun chrome cap on them that goes on the end, like a pram wheel's got. These must be available. They're certainly available in 6, 8, 10 millimeter sizes. They don't seem to be available in smaller sizes like 4 millimeters. We could just use a star washer, which is probably going to work okay, but looks a bit ugly. So McMaster Car have quite a range, and I believe that I have a lead this morning on another supplier here in Australia who may be able to source them. So, but honestly, not coming from overseas, that's too much trouble, and I don't think the Americans really owe me a lot of favours after their whole trying to tax my YouTube gig that's happening this next couple of months. So we'll see how we go with that. So that's what we're sort of going to do. We're going to run a 4mm axle through here, I think. I did have some 4mm axle material. Which is only that long, so it's pretty solid. That's plenty strong enough when you look at it. Like such. Anyway, pretty solid enough, but they just need end caps on them that look good, and that's another thing that I'm trying to chase at the moment. Anyway, Sherpy, what happened with YouTube? Americans are trying to withhold tax for creators outside the US, which is a bit of a pain in the ass because most of my viewers are probably in America, to be honest. And that's all very well, but trying to collect Australian tax out of companies like YouTube and Google just doesn't work. So it's all political, and they're trying their best, but we'll see how they go with it. Cap your hammer on, Joe. That's exactly what I need. That's right. Just to push on a hammer on cap on each end. Just to get rid of the sharp edge off there and to make them look nice on the end and give a nice polished hubcap. That's where we're at with it. So I'm sick of ads. Look, I went to YouTube Premium because it seemed like the smart and sensible way to go, and I really can't be bothered with the ads. And not that I watch any extra content, but it supports everyone and keeps everyone happy that I watch, because I don't even watch small creators. I don't watch like huge big channels. I don't watch movies and things. But it's like $15 a month or something, and that all adds up. Yeah, $15 a month for that, and $15 for every other subscription that you're a member of, and it adds up pretty quick. So you've got to be careful of that. And I understand why people don't do that, but I'm really yeah, we're sick of the ads, and I apologise for that. I honestly think premium's the way to go, but like Maddie, I watch a fair bit. You use ad blocks good too. That works too if you can be bothered keeping up to date and getting it sorted and finding a good one and all that sort of stuff. It fights with everything else, I find, and is a bit of an issue. But tried that. I just pay premium now, and I like it, but it doesn't fix everyone else's problems. So that's where we're at. This crazy little race car project is. I'm also looking for a steering wheel. Right? Sorry about the rain. This hole here is for a steering wheel. It is fairly easy to watch the ads or ignore them, and I used to be good at that too. Hey Matt, good to see you. This will have a bend in it. It goes through the bottom. Probably be brazed on the bottom. Little brazing job on all of them. 2 minutes with a flat on the bottom there that goes through the hole, and we'll braze each side of that, and that job will be done and solid and fixed at the right angle there, which is more than, it's about 45 degrees the right angle. I've got it drawn out. I don't think this hole could be a little bit longer in here. Probably just sort that. So this needs a steering wheel on it. Needs to be about 22 mil, 7/8 something diameter. If anyone knows of a good source of die-cast steering wheels, 7/8 diameter with 3 or 4 spokes in them that are nice, let me know. Hit me up. Be pretty keen on that. Modified and octanated acorn nuts, they're all right, Mark, and we could even thread them and screw them on, but they do come unscrewed. I really would like something that can be assembled fairly quickly out of the box. So I'm looking for something that's fairly easy to fit. Tap with a hammer or a block of wood. And proper star washers seem to be a sensible way to go with that. We'll see what they look like when they come here. The ones that I've ordered today. Yeah, Google's greedy, but I sort of like to. My point of take on that is that you kind of got to get this in line up for your cut, because they'll keep it if you don't. So it happens anyway. See if you can get some out of them. That's awesome. Anyway, this is another soapbox. It's probably not really the place to talk about it, but Google, I guess, have seen the writing on the wall that people are saying that offshore companies should pay tax in Australia and should pay tax in other countries as well. And they've probably got to chase it up and do it. So as a result, they're calling everyone who's a creator an offshore company that needs to pay tax in the US. So we'll see how we go with that. So, yeah, anyway. Tommy's right. It's only a matter of time before you get ads anyway, whether you want them or not. So you might as well put your hand up and say, hey, I'll take some cash off that. Skim a little bit off the top. And at least it's doing something for your channel. Problem is that I'm still paying for uploads, Craig, so getting something back out of that to cover that is awesome. Something to cover my internet bandwidth is really all I ever want out of YouTube, and that's sort of all I ever get. But it's really nice to, says me who doesn't upload videos, but it's really nice to get that back and to be taxed on it by a crazy amount, by a country that I don't really owe a lot of loyalty to and aren't contributing in any way to anyone's creativity or anyone's overheads, even the Americans. I mean, you don't pay taxes to get anything back because that's socialism. That's not how it works. I understand that. But here, at least, if I'm taxed in Australia, I would expect some of it back on some level in infrastructure or roads to go to work or something like that. Anyway. I'll feel a bit less bitter about that when it's had time to sink in. Hey, Randy. There are not many viewers on Rumble. That's very true. I'm not sure whether I bother even making content if there wasn't anyone to watch it. And not that I even make content, and I apologise for that again. Maddie's kettle's always on, but we're up for it, absolutely. YouTube still has the market, and it's finally coming of age, and we're getting to sort it out in big boy sort of terms and do the proper paperwork and pay the taxes that we owe. However, I'm going to talk to my accountant because I do have an ABN associated with this channel, and probably we'll see what sort of perks are available this end to alleviate that a bit. Thanks, Wazza, for the link. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Matt says once the viewers build up, they'll be doing the same thing as any of the others. That's exactly right. That's the way it is. That's how it is going to be. And the devil you do know is probably safer and better than the one that you don't know. And there's not much you can do about it. It's here to stay. It's the way it works. I remember watching or listening to a radio interview with a founder of Google. Gosh, which one? Can't remember now. I should know. I do know. One of the founding members of the board members, and the question was asked by the presenter. This was a few years ago. This is 2005 maybe. Don't know. 2000. I'm really not sure now. But the question was asked, why do you think, sir, that we need another search engine when Yahoo and GoDaddy and Alta Vista are doing so well? Very good question. Does anyone remember any of those? Search engine named Yahoo or Alta Vista. Anyone remember Alta Vista? Or Ask Jeeves. Anyone remember Ask Jeeves? Anyway, the question was asked, why do we need another search engine? And the answer, as glib as anything that come back, was that they weren't building a search engine, they were building an AI. And there wasn't an answer for this in the scripted radio interview, because it wasn't really something that anyone had thought about. And there wasn't time, I guess, to thresh the answer out. But even back then, there was this realization that Google was going to be a whole lot more than just a search engine. And that never really, I sort of remember that, but it never really sank in that kind of it rules the world now. Our maps work by it, our routes to work by it because of traffic lights and traffic. The weather works by it. Just about everything. Most of the calculations that I would make now are made via Google of some sort, or calculations and conversions and things like that. And it's easier to ask than do the calculation. So realistically, we've got this huge conglomerate that's trying to rule the world, and you can't tell me that any of these other companies that are trying to get a grip on it, Facebook or anything else that's starting up social media or trying to get a huge bite of traffic, even TikTok, something like that, hasn't got the same aspirations. Like, you can't tell me that they're not looking at the same goals. So what do you do? Anyway, soapbox. Sorry. Mart says, yeah, building an AI. Patty says, get out the old slipstick. The trouble is, you've got to Google to see how it works. And without Google, we've got no knowledge. Hey, Julian, good to see you. Artificial intelligence, yes. Mart. Yes, use open source software. I'm not sure that's the answer, but if you like to think it is. At this point, I don't. There is such a thing as books. You've got to have the right book, though. That's the thing. I was looking. There was a. Hang along. I'm just going to have a look in the box here and see if I can find it. I should have had it out. Yep, zero idea where that is. Someone on Facebook, right, had a picture of a thing called a planning meter. Now, I have one. I even made a video about it once a long time ago. Not worth looking at. But planning meter. Right, asking what on earth it was. Now, I knew it was a planning meter because I've got one. And even know how to use it, sort of, if I thought about it. But it's a fairly unusual device that measures the area of a unusual shape on a map. So if you, for instance, have got an aerial photograph or a map and you want to know roughly the area of a paddock or a field or a football field or a yard or a swimming pool or whatever, you use a planning meter to run around the outside, and it gives you a calculation of the area, which you can then convert via the scale and get the actual area that in real terms. I'm sure everyone's seen a planning meter. Mart's onto it. Yeah, there you go. Galleon. No, I don't remember Galleon. So it's all very well, but where on earth do you find a book with information about a planning meter? In whose library? Who has a book they can go to that says this is a planning meter, this is how you use it? No one. Everyone's got Google. So there you go. Have you looked in Machinery's Handbook? Probably it does. Gosh, DuckDuckGo, planning meter. Don't even go there, Craig. Don't be smart. So we need Google, and our lives wouldn't really be the same without it. However, there's a price you've got to pay, and you either pay that price or you whinge about it. But saying you don't use it and moving offshore, it's just putting your head in the sand, because you do use it for something somewhere. And whether it goes through whichever search engine runs through Google or whatever, at some point their paths cross and you get that information through the great corporate giant that is Google. The trouble is, Bill, if it did realise it was the new Library of Alexandria, some idiot with a Bible in one hand and a flaming torch would burn it down and behead everyone. Stephen, that's the point I'm making, yeah. Anyway, someone on Discord asked about this, right? Just to change the subject. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Take care. Change the subject. Someone on Discord asked about this. Now, this is something that Hal Pickering made for the first tool making competition. And I'm not going to field questions about that. So if you feel a question about that coming on when there's a spare minute, don't ask it, because I'm not interested. Don't want to know. Never. There is no answer. You'll just get a blank stare, and probably you'll find that I don't even speak English. So there you go. Anyway, Hal Pickering made this for the first tool making competition, and it's a pretty cool sort of a tool. It's a vernier scribing block. This is just to change the subject on that. This is a scribing block with a vernier. It's made out of a vernier caliper. He's made it up. It's got a nice hand grip and it's got a lock at the back here. It's got a few interesting features. It'll scribe up to this shoulder here. It will also scribe between 2 points. So it's got a pinhole here that gives you a different scale. So you can put, there's actually a scriber to go in this hole in the back here underneath where my thumb is, and that will scribe a center line. So if you want to use it as dividers to scribe an arc, you can do that too. It's got that hole there actually locks this in here, and then there's a knob here that locks this one in here, and this one here locks the slide in place, which I think this one probably, it locks another piece here, and if you add 150 millimeters you can use this with another scriber here and here, and you can extend it by 150 millimeters for scribing a line. So pretty nice thing. I came back from Summer Bash in 2019, I guess, no, 2018, 2019, with a seriously big Morse Taper 3, really nice drill chuck. And after it sat here for 12 months and I really kicked it around and thought it was never going to fit in any of my machines, I posted saying, what's anyone got to trade? And Hal says, well, I'll send you a scribing block if you like. I'm like, well, I'm up for that. So I sent him the drill chuck, and I got this back out of him, which I use all the time. This is a pretty useful tool. Absolutely. It's pretty awesome thing, really. So if you want some inspiration, I think something like this now is available on China, from China somewhere, very, very similar sort of a tool. But if you want some inspiration, you've got an old vernier caliper. This is probably the way to make a scribe and block that's got some accurate adjustment. Someone asked about that in the Discord channel today, and I thought, well, while we're at it, we'll ask them. We'll show you that. Brendan's onto that. Do a barrel roll. I forgot about that. Wish there was a print on that build. You'll have to make something up with Maddie. Oh, you really will. And if you hit up Cal, he's on Facebook. He's a great guy. He's down your way. He's in Melbourne, I think, or he might be in Sydney. He could be, yeah, I'm not sure really. I should know. I think he's there by the border somewhere, maybe. If you hit him up, he'd probably send you a drawing. Nice guy. He's a toolmaker, retired toolmaker. So there you go. The one that Shaper Andy made looks pretty good too. A little bit simpler than that. Saw that picture. So that's where we're at. What else? What else is happening? Not very much, to be honest. I've got 10 more subscribers. Check that out. I think it's about 15 more subscribers. Actually, I really appreciate that from last week. That's awesome. Whoever you are, you're not here for the content, so really appreciate your input into the community. Don't know. Don't know if there's much. Bead roller. Bead roller. Someone asked about bead roller. Bought one. Got one from South Australian Mob. Don't know if they're any good. I know someone who bought a lathe from them and wasn't particularly impressed. But anyway, $100 cheaper than here in Forbes for basically the same thing, which is a knockoff of an American one. So when that arrives, that'll be fun. Mess around with that. I really want to roll up a fuel tank. Rustanox, g'day. Good to see you. New video from Rustanox this must have been last week, was it? But really enjoyed that. Check that out. Foil or marble paper, Darren, yeah. Bead roller hasn't turned up. It will be here, I guess, at some point, and we can mess around with it. It shouldn't be far away. I think it might even turn up tomorrow or the next day. I'd like it here before the weekend. Got to make a water tank for the 400. That's the first job for it, really. And I've got some bits to make on this prototype that need some beads on them. So we'll think about that too when it comes. Rustanox is okay. That's good. Good to hear. Not much fun at the hospital, though. You can live without that. Well, probably you can't, but it'd be nice to pretend that you can. So maybe next week we'll have a look at the bead roller. So there we go. We're hour and 15 in. Yeah, it's not the Machinery House one though, because they're $100 dearer, and I'm not buying that. Probably there's reason to do so, but I'm not sure there's $100 worth of reason to do so. Anyway, when it comes, we might have a bit of a play with it. I need to get the video camera on again and make some videos, and I really apologize that I haven't. I kind of got writer's block because I'm worried about this 400 and that it may never ever run, and I sort of promised myself that I wasn't going to start any more video projects until I got it going. So I'm at a standstill because I really don't know how to get that going. That's where we're at. But we've got some suggestions on carbies, which I really appreciate, and we're going to chase that up. See what we can find. And Craig started using DuckDuckGo, which actually still has a. You will probably break it and it'll be down tomorrow because it actually had users. But anyway, Matthew Docks did a few modifications to his bead roller. I'll have to ask him about it. I hadn't seen that. Matthew's crazy, and I've decided to only watch his channel for amusement value, not actual quality content anymore. There you go. I'll check that out, Matty. Matt's a great guy, but he is a stark raving loony with that Land Rover. He's English. You got to remember that. Yeah, apparently there's a sale. March sale's coming next week here in Forbes. I'm probably not going to buy anything because I'm broke. Prototyping takes it out of me. And yeah, anyway. Craig's going to bed. Take care. Take care of the ladies, all that sort of stuff. And we'll catch you around, Craig. Thanks for that. Thanks for the links. Really appreciate it. We'll have a look at that. Anyway, I probably should go to bed too. I've got stuff to do before. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hear me rabbit for an hour about nothing. Like, that's all I've done because really we've not resolved or talked about anything that's of any use. The bread tin man, yeah, totally. If you've got a tinsmith that with some machines, you really need to do that. Darren probably has the book. Metalworks Machine Shop, good to see ya. Stopping in to say hi, off to work, have fun. Anyway, I'm going to call it. Take care, everyone. Really appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate all your feedback. Being patient with me with stupid projects. Probably we're going to have another go at the 400 over the coming little while, and I might see if I can. This minute I find a suitable carby, I'll buy it. But at this point, I'm a bit lost with that. Anyway, take care. Next week, look after yourselves and be kind to each other, especially to me. I'm out.